by John Fenwick or William Penn or some other Quaker. The two places were a little over 100 miles apart, and the going pretty rough in those days. Joseph was born in Flushing, Long Island around 1688 and came to New Jersey about 1705. He married Sarah, whose last name we have not found, and by her had 6 children, only one of whom was a son named Thomas. Son Thomas married first Sarah Clement, and there were no children of this marriage. He then married Letitia Matlock Mickle on February the 19th, 1750, and their only son Thomas was born in 1751. It would seem from the dates that we are able to find that the mother died in childbirth, for she is listed as also having died in 1751. Thomas was 9 years old when his father died. Now Joseph, the son of Thomas, married Sarah Collins Canaan. I notice one of you have the middle name Collins, so you may find a connection there. She was the granddaughter of one of the earliest settlers in that section of New Jersey. Their marriage certificate was issued by William Franklin, purported to be the illegitimate son of Benjamin Franklin. We have not gone into a great deal of detail with this line, many descendants of which lived to the north of Haddenfield. And I guess when you say north of Haddenfield, you're in North Jersey. Our particular line comes through William, the last son of John and Sarah Hunt Harrison, and the great-grandson of Edward and Elizabeth, therefore the 4th generation in America. Little has been found of William, who was born after the death of his father. He had one son who was also called William, born about 1755 in Haddenfield. He married Jane Murphy in 1783, and on January 2nd, 1785, a son Joseph was born to the union. You wish that people in those days had had a little bit more imagination in the way they named their children, but so many of them are William, had a William, had a William, had a William, or Joseph had a Joseph. It makes it very difficult to research when you find so many with the same name. Like my son Philip, we called our youngest son Philip. We did call him Philip V instead of Phillip O, but he has said many, many times, why did you ever name me Philip? Because we lived near each other, and the bank was always getting our deposits and our checks mixed up. It depended on whether it was the deposits or the check who was favored by all of that. There is little startling in the line as it descends from Joseph down through William, my great-grandfather. William's brother Joe achieved some fame in the area of Haddenfield and is fondly called Uncle Joe Bachelor. Uncle Joe gave sound advice on raising children because he raised 26. And as he said, he never quarreled with his wife because he didn't have one, which demands an explanation, or else Uncle Joe's going to look like a reprobate. You see, Uncle Joe opened his home to children. The first one came from Miss Kate, who happened to be in the area and who was a good social worker. She came to Uncle Joe one time and she said, I have a little boy I want you to take and bring up. Uncle Joe had planned to be married. He had the girl picked out and all, and they had planned to be married, but it so happened that his brothers got ahead of him, and they got married first, leaving the parents with no one to take care of them, so Uncle Joe took care of the parents until their death. And then Uncle Joe began to receive children into his home. Miss Kate came with a second child and said, I have a second child who has no parents. Would you take them in? And so through the years, Uncle Joe took in 26 children and raised them. He gave them care, love, and an education which every father should give his child. He demanded, although he was a bachelor, that all of them get married, and all did but one. She died when she was 18 years of age and didn't have a chance. They all also had happy families. All of his children made good but one. He gives sound advice to parents in one of the newspapers up there. He said, first of all, treat them with kindness. He says in the second place, never chastise them. Fatherly advice and kind words bring better results. He said also, always put them to bed by 9 o'clock. They have plenty of time to play during the day. He said, put aside for each one a certain sum of money each week and keep it until they reach their majority. Then he said, never let other children get the better of them. Impress upon them that they are as good as anyone else. Well might an Old Testament verse be paraphrased, his children shall rise up and call him blessed. May I just close by saying it's to my shame and my regret that I did not talk to my grandmother, Mrs. Lucinda McDonald Hinchman, when she lived across the street from me, to find out more of the Hinchmans of New Jersey. My grandmother, Lucinda, married Jacob Evaul, a farmer, on January the 31st, 1877, and had 3 boys and 1 girl. The second son, Sherman, married Gertrude May Upham, and I was their 4th child, which just about brings us up to date. Just to this added bit, I married a Southern girl 51 years and 18 days ago, Margaret Cloud. And we have applied a biblical principle to our marriage found in Psalm 127, verses 3 through 5. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is his reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. We've been blessed with 6 children who indeed, when we travel, fill up our flivver with them. And I hasten to add, we have 15 grandchildren.
All right.